Okay, that kind of sounded like it.
Welcome. And then, it's funny,
And then I was like, well, that was like the middle of the conversation. I don't even know where we started with that.
Well, I always thought that was a Howard Stern reference.
Oh.
And then I watched the Gary Shandling documentary and realized they're referring to the announcer played by Jeffrey Tambor.
Oh, I love
He
Jeffrey
always
Tambor.
would say that. And I think he was making fun of Ed McMahon on the I'm not sure.
Yes. He kind of sounds like he's doing an impression of Ed McMahon.
Right.
In my memory of it.
We're doing an impression of Howard Stern, doing an impression of Jeffrey Tambor, doing an impression of Ed McMahon.
Ooh, this is cool.
Welcome to the show, episode 261.
Wow.
We're nearing the middle of October.
Yes, it's
year
getting
is-
spooky.
Let me see if I have some scary music.
Ooh,
Spooks.
it's Halloween. And I don't even know what I'm going to be at.
That's
the scariest thing of all.
Listen to that.
I am really upset at costume stores right now.
Yeah? What
There are
about it?
too many options and not enough DIY. It just seems like everything's there. And
Too commercial.
Too commercial. And they've taken all those things. Like, it's one thing if you're selling a specific character. You know, I'm like fine with that. You want to be SpongeBob? Great. Like, buy your SpongeBob costume.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I should, like, a cactus. You know, it's like they've taken all the ones that are on Pinterest as like DIY ones, and they've like commercialized them and put them in plastic bags, and they don't look even half as cool as the DIY ones to begin with.
Right.
And I'm noticing that even I went to Michael's the other day, and the arts and crafts store, and I hadn't been there in a while, and they were selling all of the things that I see on my Instagram or on Pinterest to make. Like,
really?
Like almost like I'm trying to think of like what things I saw, but things that where I've definitely watched, you know, like how to make a chalkboard, like, you know, like a chalkboard sign or something like that. They're putting it together for you.
Well, it
and
seems
doing
like
all the-
Pinterest has really like changed the game of Halloween altogether.
Yes.
It's a little much
I
for
think
me.
it also may have kind of screwed with people's expectations of baby showers and stuff.
Everything.
Like, relax, everybody.
Relax.
It
Baby
doesn't all
showers
need to
cannot be improved. Like, it is going to suck. There's nothing you can do.
I disagree. I love them. Well, I like them.
And like Halloween costumes, it's changed expectations on like what's a good one.
Right.
Like, it has to be so
Right.
original and elaborate. And even with the kids ones, did you see like the makeup artist that comes here? She's making one of those transformers out of a
my
cardboard
goodness.
box.
Wow. Yeah.
And it transforms
Yeah.
into like Optimus Prime, or whatever, Optimus Prime.
Yes.
And I'm just like, damn.
Well, because it's like a reflection, I mean, of
a lot of
on
work.
the parents.
Yeah.
It's not
And
like
I
the
think
kid
some
who's
people
taking
really
pride in
enjoy
his-
it.
Yes, I love it.
I
for
get
example.
that. But man,
I love it.
I have a rant.
Okay.
Let me see what you think of this. Mm-hmm. So my house is situated on a hill, and over the hill of my backyard is a school.
Yes.
And it specifically is the football field, like baseball diamond area. Mm-hmm. And so throughout the year, the different teams practice there from like 3 to 5 every day. And baseball season was really fun because I just like the sound of baseball.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed like hearing all of the noises that come with baseball. Mm-hmm. But football season's here. Mm-hmm. I'm not a football fan. Mm-hmm. But when they practice, they bring in a speaker and they play music.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's pretty common at football practice. I think they have a lot of these songs that are designed to get you pumped up.
Y'all ready for this?
Yes, and
Who let the dogs out? Who? No,
That
they
is
didn't play
on
it. No,
the
they didn't.
mix.
I was saying that so ironically
real.
and like as a joke, and that was on there.
yes.
You know what? Now I have a problem with them too.
So the songs go over a variety of genres. They all would be probably under the anthem category.
That's my least favorite category, in case you were wondering.
But what occurred to me, because I was like, why do I hate this so much? Was I was imagining if there were a female, I don't know, soccer team, and they had a mixtape of songs, they would probably have some of the same ones, like "We Are the Champions," whatever those songs are. But they would also have like Katy Perry's "Roar."
Yes, they would.
Well, there's not one female vocalist on any song that these men get excited about ever one time. Not one time. They have rap, they have hip hop, they have oldies, they have rock, they have every decade, but not one goddamn vagina.
Wow, they're really keeping those women out of there unless they're in cheerleader uniforms.
And I realized that anthems are more common with male singers.
Yeah, but like,
there are plenty of songs that are sung by women that can be called anthems.
Yeah.
And they're not on that mixtape, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah, I get like a whole bunch of Beyonce songs.
Well, yeah, good
She's
point.
like the best for that. Look, she did the Super Bowl halftime show, people.
Right.
Pretty sure it would be okay on a football warm-up mixtape.
And there's even songs that aren't anthems that are like Snoop Dogg and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that they went to a lot of effort to avoid having a vagina.
I wonder who's responsible for that mixtape. And I think maybe it's the individual who...
The coach?
Yeah, because, I mean, let me refresh your memory on a coach that I met outside of his position as coaching, and he had a tattoo that said white power on his back.
Right. Well, at first, when I started analyzing the song list, I thought it was really heavy on people of color, and that's fine, and I like all the music, but then I realized who was missing. And it was, I am. And I just really started to think about how sports and masculinity and music and all of that and all the ways they overlap and the ways I don't like.
Yeah. I have a real big problem. Landon was singing this new song. I think it's called I'll find it. It's I Love It by Kanye West. And let me tell you, I fucking hate it.
You don't love it?
I don't love it. I have to make sure that's that's what it's called. Let me see. I know because it was just on the top charts. I Love It, yeah, by Lil Pump and Kanye West. And the lyrics are, "You're such a fucking hoe. I love it." And they say that like 4 times.
We're getting old, though, because we're bothered by that.
And I'm like, this is a big problem. And then on the radio edit, they say, "You're such a freaky girl. I love it," or something. But
though I like when Rick James says that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, whatever. Rick James, keep doing your thing. But I did not like Kanye West singing, "You're such a fucking hoe. I love it." And then knowing that he's married to Kim Kardashian, who is like, you can love her, whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. She's a powerful woman. But she's definitely portraying an image where beauty and what you look like is very, very important. And so I think like you look at that that couple and what the messages that they're sending as this like, oh, look at this powerful couple who like meets with the president and does all these important things and has their own show and gets paid a bunch of money, and it's just, you're such a fucking hoe, and the only thing that matters is what you look like, and and you get your career.
What's the context of like what is a hoe in that situation? Is that a stupid question? Like,
I think it's like a promiscuous girl, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they love it. He loves it.
Yeah. I guess. I don't freaking know. But I don't know. I just feel like that's not that who I want to like idolize. I just don't want to. I just feel like maybe we're I don't know. It just seems a little messed up.
Does Landon just say it's got a good beat?
It does. And I've been listening to it like crazy. Like I've been listening to it too, and I'm like, I can't get it out of my head. It's one of those earworms that just kind of lives in there, and it's so short, and it says the same thing. There's not even a lot of lyrics It's just I just that's my rant about your rant in response to your rant.
All right, fair enough. One thing I really do love is the clothes that they have at Carbon 38.
Yes.
I just placed another order.
I look like a fucking hoe in those, if you know what I mean.
Carbon 38 has really gorgeous, I guess a lot of it is like athleisure,
Yes.
but like hot.
Super hot. Like those, everybody knows these like sexy liquid leggings that are like, they're like leather, but leggings.
Not. Yeah.
And they make your butt look so good.
And it's like they're trying to blur the lines between workout wear and street style, which makes sense because that seems like what people were trying to accomplish anyway with like workout clothes.
Yeah.
But they have ready to wear footwear, accessories, athletic clothes, and they have 66 different brands that you can buy there. So it's not just like Carbon 38, it's all these different labels. And they have tons of crop tops. That's what I'm getting into.
Love them. Me too. That's what I'm wearing today. Hello.
Lots of high-waisted stuff that's like super slimming. And they're great for performance and functionality and fit and really looking good.
Yep.
But they have a deal for you. Carbon 38 is offering, they have new arrivals every day of the top luxury performance fashion labels. And if you go to carbon38.com and use code BRAIN for 20% off your order, you will be very happy. That's carbon38.com, promo code BRAIN for 20% off your purchase. I used that code when I ordered the other day.
Those leggings are back in stock. I ordered them.
They
were
them.
out 3 times. They sold out.
Yeah, I saw them. They have a bunch of colors too. So any hoodles.
Yeah. I had a short story from last time that I did a little TBC, to be continued. On
what?
The goat story. Yeah. This is so funny because I felt like, anytime I get a chance to talk about salt with Susie, I'm excited. And you guys are probably like, salt? Goats? What? Didn't you tell us they were getting airlifted out of parks? Well, let me tell you. In Olympia National Park in Washington, they are having a serious problem with the mountain goats. And one man was already killed by a goat that they're not native to there. It didn't say in the article how they came to be in that national park.
Right.
But I think they just don't have any natural predators there, and so their population, right?
Yeah.
Their population has grown exponentially, and now they're like over. Well, they're airlifting 345 out of there, and they say they're going to, what do they call it? Lethally remove, which is another fancy way to say kill, between 275 and 375. Try to get down to a population of 0.
Oh my God.
Because these guys are...
What's the problem?
This is the crazy part.
Okay.
They're obsessed with human pee. I'm not kidding. That's the real reason.
Goats are fucking
They
weird.
are going nuts for human urine because of the salts that are in there. And so people who are hiking along the trails are peeing on the trail, like guys most of the time. Well, anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done like...
You gotta go, you gotta
go, and they're peeing right along the side of the trail. These goats go nuts for the salts that are in the
Eating it
pee.
up.
So they like come running out of the woods, and people get hurt, and they're like knocking for real, and they're like digging and they said that they're digging at the earth to like.
Are they trying to get to the pee like during mid flow, like a water fountain?
That was what I was wondering. I think it's post. I think it's afterwards.
But people are still around, and it's scary.
Yes, and there was one man that tried to shoo away. They were hiking, and he tried to shoo the goat away, and the goat charged at him and killed him.
Yeah, you gotta. Oh, killed him!
Killed
my God.
him. Yeah, people have been killed by these goats.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and like even when people think that like it's like a petting zoo and they can feed them, and the salts on your hands, even from like sweating, they go crazy for. I think these goats are like you, man. I'm like, just give them a couple packets.
Right, put out a salt lick.
Go on vacation and just bring them back some from other countries, and they'll be happy.
Are you telling me though, in general, that this is what happens with goats?
I think it's probably this specific breed or something like that, or maybe that there's something to it. There's something like environmentally where they are missing something that maybe if they lived somewhere else they would have sodium levels that made it so they wouldn't go nuts for this stuff. That made me, I was like, oh, what's going on with that? But
Wow, Sarah.
Isn't that a weird one?
You've blown my mind with the last two stories.
Thank you. That is the, yeah, it says, this one I found, it was on Vice that I got this article, and it said a national park is airlifting hundreds of mountain goats that have gone crazy for human pee.
Good night.
Yeah. It says they're too thirsty for human piss.
That's bizarre.
Mm-hmm. And they also said in this article that it's very important, you know, it's so funny. I was going to like send this to Land and like passive aggressively tell him about like how it's really important to go to the bathroom 60 feet away from any hiking trail.
Really? 60 yards? Why?
60 feet at least.
Feet.
Because that the animals will be attracted to the smell of urine. Some of them, like mountain goats, and I'm sure deer and some other ones that kind of fall in that same.
And then they get too close to humans.
And yeah, they get too like comfortable with humans. So you have to make sure that the nature stays out there. So you got to leave your nature stuff out there too.
Whoa. Yeah. Do they eat BMs?
Probably not.
I bet they
I don't
do.
think
Weirdos.
Oh, I was going to say I don't think a lot of animals do, but my dog has eaten his own many times, so I take that back.
For sure.
In fact, oh my God, poor Bo. Bo, I had to take her to the vet because she has kennel cough.
Why is there so much shame?
There is for me. It's probably like my own thing. For some reason, I feel like it's like I have a child who just got lice, and like my child is spreading it, and I'm like scared that the other moms are gonna like judge me.
Did you ever have lice?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh, it was and I had hair down to my butt.
What did you do? Comb it all out?
Yes, it took hours. What about you?
Same.
Was it the worst or what?
Oh my God, it's the worst.
Like
and
the
I
worst.
had it for a long time before anyone believed me.
No, poor. Oh, you were just like
I was so
little
itchy. No, it was just that my mom had 5 kids. She was like, "You're fine."
You're like lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Oh, Suze.
And how itchy it is. It was terrible.
I'm surprised that everybody else in your house didn't get it with how many people were living in such small quarters.
Good point.
I mean, with that picnic bench and their picnic table in the kitchen.
That just goes to show how little attention they paid me. They weren't even touching me, no hugs.
Oh, Suze.
No.
I would have definitely contracted lice from you.
Did you have to did you have to take all of your scrunchies and like put them in a quarantine? I had to do that.
I'm sure my mom did. I mean, I remember her just being like, oh my gosh, if you didn't have such beautiful hair, I'd shave it off. Like, it was
'cause you gotta get
so
every
long,
egg.
and she did it was like each strand, it felt like. I mean, that was misery.
Right.
I was out for, like a week.
Wow, really? I missed one day.
Oh, no, I think I was out for a while. I think I really, maybe in my mind, I've just like kind of.
What were you going to say about Bo, though?
Oh, right. Yeah, that time I went into like, I don't know, someplace in my head there. She has kennel cough. And so I felt like embarrassed because now I have to like call her doggy daycare.
Yeah.
Because there was a point to this story.
Well, we were talking
There was something in the beginning. I was saying like...
We were talking about the goats and stuff.
Yeah, goats. And then she gets kennel cough. Oh, it was cleaning up about what animals eat and all that stuff. Because she has kennel cough, one of the weird things that she does is this like retching thing where she's like goes to puke and then throws up, but it's like just mucus. She has done this. She probably did it 40 times all over. I followed Bo.
You're kidding.
With a paper, just cleaning up after. I mean, I put her outside, but still, it's like you got to clean up a little on my patio. There's like little dog burps, and I had to like go around and like I'm like following her around. So I don't know where this fit into our previous conversation.
How
but
dogs eat poop, basically.
Okay, so yeah. Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, it's like bringing me back. I don't know where my brain just like took a vacation through that story. But the part that I was going to share is that yes, I'm following Bo around and cleaning up after her. Mostly because if I don't, Sigmund comes along and eats it before I get to it.
They are
so he's eating his own shit and her puke.
3 square a day.
God, airlift him out of the place.
Out of Kodo.
Yeah.
Well, I'll change the subject. Are you familiar with the Tylenol scandal of the 80s?
Oh, was this one where one with like they were poisoned? There was some like kind of people getting sick from the bottles? Yeah.
Well, not from the bottles. The
actual
people were poisoning Tylenol on purpose.
Okay, yeah.
And people were dying from it.
Is this where the seals started?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard little bits and pieces, but I don't really know the whole story of it.
All right.
So fill me in.
I'm going to tell you about it. And first, I want to make Rhonda really mad and talk about how I have a new pair of Rothy's because I got the tennis shoe version.
You got it already?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I ordered them for my friend for her birthday, and
That's interesting to buy shoes.
Because I'm like, she needs this, and they were perfect for her, and she's like a businesswoman who's on the go, but also has 3 kids, and she's like running around all over the place, but always likes to look cute, so I bought her the red pointy-toed flats.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Rothy's, we get all these compliments all the time because when you wear them, they look really, really cute, but then they're super comfortable, so you can wear them all day. You're not going to get sore feet. They are made from recycled plastic water bottles, which is unbelievable. I just washed my original pair in the washer yesterday.
Yeah, bright and
good
shiny.
as new.
I can't wait to see your sneakers.
That's the thing. Like you can wash them and then get them right back. That's why I chose white for the sneakers because I'm like, I can wash them.
Oh my God, I've always wanted white sneakers.
See?
I'm buying them.
They're the everyday flat for life on the go. Stylish, comfortable, classic. Comes in different styles, like we said, the flat, the point, the loafer, and now so I guess they're calling it a sneaker. Different colors and patterns, and we love our Rothy's. We know you will too. You've seen them on my Instagram a million times. Right now, Rothy's has an amazing deal for our listeners. Use code BRAINCANDY to get free shipping, no minimum. Free shipping and free returns exchanges on your Rothy's shoe, and trust me, you won't return them. Go to rothys.com, rothys.com, and enter Brain Candy to get your cute shoes and free shipping. No brainer, shoes that are comfortable, stylish, and sustainable, and free shipping. Get yourself a pair today, rothys.com. Promo code Brain Candy. Get this deal while it lasts. Rhonda, you mad? Here's what I want to say. I read an article about the Tylenol thing.
Yeah.
It was just interesting because, you know, seeing how products and product design have to change in response to these types of things. Yeah. And then you hear about like recalls and stuff that happen now, and almost every time the companies get it wrong in their response. Like you can't help that it happened, but you can help how you handle it. Even like Facebook with the Cambridge Analytica breach. Yeah. You know, like it took days for Zuckerberg to say anything about it, and these types of responses are a problem. Whereas Tylenol, they were in the article talking about how they handled it perfectly. It was immediate.
That's a nice relief. Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank goodness. I was like holding my breath for you to say like they did the worst and blah, blah, blah. Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
They were like, first of all, recall, and this was millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. And then they added the seal. They added the cotton.
The cotton
inside.
I always wondered what that was from.
Yeah.
So that you can't get to the pills. You would notice if anything were added.
That's what they're saying.
You'd have to take out the cotton.
And then the metal seal that's like the thing you poke through. Man. And all of those things, someone could still get in, but you'd notice. Yes. You'd be likely to notice, this has been tampered with.
I always thought the cotton was to either stop the sound of the shaking in the bottles when they were like, I don't know, being transported, or to absorb moisture, but none of that's true.
Maybe it's multi-purpose. Yeah. But
that's a good little invention.
Yeah, when you see, this has been broken into or not.
Yes.
And you can have assurance, and thank God. But here's what I wanted to ask you as someone who studies psychotherapy.
Yes.
What is the motivation for they never caught who did it. And I want to know what in their mind, if no one ever finds out it's you, what is in it for you?
Oh, that's a difficult one to answer. I think it's situational,
It's
this
just
is
sadistic.
Really upsetting, but like it kind of points to a woman with it being like hands off and one of two things, like the vigilante or like somebody was either something happened to like their child or their whole they have a grudge against Tylenol, and like something happened where somebody used that, I don't know, took too many and they severely injured themselves or killed themselves or something like that. It's a family member who just lost it, and there was already like it all has to happen. It's never just one thing, it's always a bunch of stuff that has to happen. So it's like first you have underlying mental illness, and then you pair that with like a lack of social support and resources, and then you throw on top of it some like traumatic experience, like the death of a younger brother or something in that way, like a child who got a hold of it and like, oh, I'll teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
They make this dangerous, I'm going to kill everybody, and then they'll change. Something like that, or, who the heck knows?
Yeah.
But it's always layered, and I think there are usually signs,
Do you think
and that's
that
why we
when
got to
people
look out
die,
for each other.
that person feels pleasure?
No, maybe no.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, then
I think the pleasure is felt in the relief for them in that moment comes from the act of setting it up, like the not the actual moment of the person dying, but them putting those bottles on the shelf is where that emotional
that's how they knew
comes.
that it wasn't happening in the factories. They somehow knew that it was happening on the store shelves.
Yeah. It's
But
so sad.
funnily enough, this happens, it seems like it happened a lot in my childhood during Halloween, the fear of like needles. But then I read on BuzzFeed in Australia, someone is putting friggin' needles in strawberries.
I don't understand. I
What
wish.
is that?
That's like out of my scope of competence. And like,
Out of your pay grade?
Like, I have no clue what would. I feel like who I would work with are the people who are the family members of the individual who's doing that. And like, how can we.
Don't you think it's the same type of person though?
Yeah, I do.
It's so weird.
Well, I watched, there was this really good episode of Law & Order, the season premiere of Law & Order Special Victims Unit, and it was about ready, spoiler alert right now, it was about a dad who was teaching such narrow and aggressive definitions of what it meant to be a man, and like, this is what masculinity is, and you're not a man, and like, he took him hunting, and the son wouldn't shoot the rabbit, so he's like, and just started calling him like, you're a little girl, you're nothing but the P word that we all hate, and said like, I would hit you, but I don't hit a girl, and ends up raping his son, which is so sad. But then the son goes on to do a school shooting, and he shoots up the school, and then son, of course, gets locked up. But then they put the dad on trial too for teaching, like, you've taught the lesson of how to be a criminal, and by teaching this, by doing what you did, you taught how to be a criminal. So I look at like, what was the being taught in this person's house? What did they grow up with? What lessons were? Because there's usually like something that anybody who has experienced trauma or anybody who's gone through something, there's almost like this mantra that comes into your head of like, a real man is this, or you're born alone, you'll die alone, or whatever that mantra is that's in your head that's like unhealthy, can take over and can cause you to think some really twisted stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really, I think back to, and we've talked about this a lot in the clinic actually recently, that water study that the Japanese researchers did on looking at water molecules in the bottles. And if you say wonderful, nice things to them, they'll photograph differently. Then you have one that you say mean things to it, it will look different. And I think those kind of things and that, that negativity and a constant like life of hearing nothing but awful stuff would create almost like a person who, if photographed on a molecular level, looks toxic in a way, because that's what water looks like if you speak bad to it. This isn't like some hippity-dippity theory. This is like science.
Right.
And how can that not affect us when we are filled with water?
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff.
Makes you feel, I don't know, I get pretty hopeless though, because everybody has trauma.
Yeah.
Like, life is so hard.
Yes, it sure is.
And so to get it right, even most of the time, is like the victory of life.
Well, that's why you have to get it, even just a little bit at the time.
Yeah.
And practicing gratitude and being able to say, life is messed up, man. There's a lot of bad stuff. But isn't it nice that we get an hour to talk about some fun stuff, and I get to sit with you, and isn't it great that somebody invented podcasts so we can so you have to think like that, and it's hard to do because we just can, but I don't know, you just got to choose what to focus on, I guess.
I was reading this thing about, psychopaths, and I'm bringing it up just because we were just talking about the Tylenol thing and the strawberries, and then
Would
do that?
Totally.
Like, it all comes
all
together.
Of it. Yeah, totally.
And it was describing how, because oftentimes people say psychopaths can't, they don't have empathy, like they can't see whatever. And I'm going to tell you all about it, Rhonda, after I tell you about this really cool thing that I just discovered and that I know you will love. And because, especially, life is friggin' hard. And it's called Talkspace.
Yeah.
And it is an online therapy company that lets you message a licensed therapist from anywhere at any time. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the mobile app, Talkspace, and you can work on your mental health, even if you have trouble making time for it in the past, or if you find, traditional therapy to be too expensive.
Yeah, it's a really good alternative.
I love that. Yeah, that's what I love, because I feel like everybody needs
an outlet. They need a place to talk, a space to talk.
But
see what I did there?
But a lot of people think, first of all, it can be scary to go to therapy.
Yep, I get that.
Second of all, it can be expensive, and it's also inconvenient, like if you work a normal job or even like weird hours. But this is a great way if you want to get something off your chest, or like if you just need a freaking positive message or a life coach or
somebody to get you back on track real quick.
Yeah, and talk about everyday challenges at work or home, whatever. And I just think that's really, really cool. So Talkspace platform has over 2,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing life challenges we all face to match you with a perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy. Go to Talkspace.com/braincandy and use the code BRAINCANDY to get $45 off your first month and show your support for our show. That's Brain Candy and Talkspace.com/braincandy.
If you've never been to a therapist before, I think this is a great starter.
Totally. What's this all about?
Yes.
A lot of people, like my mom's generation, are like, I don't need.
Yes, totally.
Well, hey, give it a try. See what you think.
Yep. There's a big population that are becoming caregivers for their older parents, and it's very stressful to go through that. These are the kind of things that you need to talk about.
So the psychopath study.
Yeah.
Was interesting to me because I talked to a lot of murderers through the mail that are in penitentiary, and it's always interesting to me because I have no trouble talking to them. We get along. We have a lot in common. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I like these people better than some of my family members, but they've done terrible, disgusting, horrific things.
Yeah. Oh.
But they were describing this way that they tested to see, is it true that they can't put themselves in other people's shoes? So they showed them a picture of a person looking at another person. And then they put a dot behind the person, number one, and a dot in front of person number one. And then they asked people in the study to say, how many dots do you see? And they would say how many they saw, and then they would say, how many dots does that person see? Like the person number one. So if one's behind him,
can't see
that person number one could only see one dot. And so they would measure how long it would take for you or me to determine that answer versus a sociopath.
It seems like that would be a very easy answer to answer really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
But they had trouble knowing how many dots person number one could see. They could do it, but it took them a longer period of time. Everybody took longer to answer that question than the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's just your brain.
Yeah, you have to think for a sec.
Yeah. But the psychopaths had trouble imagining what it would be like to be that person number one.
Okay. This is interesting. Because this reminds me of what we learned in my developmental psychology classes, where they talk about different benchmarks that children hit. And one of the ones that is a test that they do with children is there's a name for what they call it, but it's an understanding that somebody else has thoughts other than our own.
Yes.
And they can test it with like doing they take like a box of M&Ms and they put crayons in there, something that isn't M&Ms. And the child comes in and he opens the box and he goes, "Oh, hey, these aren't M&Ms, they're crayons," or whatever. And they go, "Hey, I tricked you. Look at that. Here's some M&Ms, but you thought you didn't think that, you thought there were M&Ms in the box, and oh, look, surprise, they're crayons. Like, isn't that a funny joke? Like, I kind of played a prank on you, introducing that idea." And then they say, "Hey, Johnny over there in the other room, I'm gonna do the same thing to him. What do you think he's gonna say is inside the box?" And based on their answer, they can understand if they, like, a kid who understands that another child has separate thoughts than his own will say, "Oh, he's going to think there are M&Ms in there."
Yeah.
But a child who can't separate his own thoughts from the other child and only knows that he, like, thinks only my thoughts are what exist, I don't know that other people have other thoughts, he'll say, he's going to think there are crayons in there. Mm-hmm. He'll say what his idea of reality is. Mm-hmm. His idea of reality, I mean, I hope I explained this right. His idea, or in a way that people can follow me and understand, but the child who just had like the quote-unquote prank done on him now has an understanding that what's in that box is not M&Ms, it's crayons. But what he doesn't have an understanding of is that another child will think that there are M&Ms.
Really?
He doesn't understand that in the past he had another.
Really?
There's a very specific. That's like a developmental marker of being, and there's a name for it. There's also so there are a few different ones. There's like another one with positioning and like going behind a mountain and like where you are on the map and is there somebody behind the mountain. But these are things that you can test in I'm telling you that a test that they do on 5-year-olds or like 4-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if there's a struggle to do that, and if you can almost like predict this behavior is what I'm saying. Is like if they fail that test at 4 and they also fail at 8 and they're still failing at 11, that maybe there's a real indication that they don't have that concept of what's happening in another person's, maybe. Is that like, how can you look at the origin of that, like, or how that kind of, who knows? That just reminds me of that study.
And they connected, I mean, psychopathy has absolutely nothing to do with autism, so I don't want anyone to think that's what I'm saying. But, the ways that people with autism connect and relate to other people sometimes can have similar issues, like with being able to understand another person's emotions and things like that. So I think these tests are really handy just for showing how these different brains work outside of what we consider the typical behaviors. Yeah. So then we can interact with them differently and show them information differently.
Totally.
It's not about like who does it better, right, or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just about like, oh, their brain processes this information in a different way.
A recent one that I've discovered recently in a few people, my aunt included, is the inability to like picture something in your mind's eye, or the inability to picture faces. Like my aunt has face blindness.
Weird.
She said she knows who I am based on like other cues, and she did not know she had this until she was an adult.
I've read that Brad Pitt has it. I don't know.
I think he does too.
Okay.
Which could also be why he looks like his girlfriends.
Good point.
Oh my God.
We just talked about how there's that meme going around where Brad Pitt takes on the traits of who he's with.
Because it's like a mirror. Because he can't even recognize them, so it's almost like maybe like an empathy or like...
Oh, that is so
dude,
weird.
I love our podcast.
Sarah cracked case.
This is so cool.
Wow. That's crazy.
This just in, face blindness may cause you to mimic the people that you're dating. Just look at Brad Pitt.
It's just it. Sarah, that was a real light bulb that went off on that one.
That cool,
was
man.
Really insightful.
We just had to get my wheels turning talking about the...
Well, that face blindness freaks me out.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I don't have it.
But it wouldn't even bother you if you did.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even know.
Upset about
That's the thing. It's like we can't be worried about all this stuff.
I'm worried about it.
Because like, if somebody told me right now, you have a neurological disorder, I'd be really concerned. But I do have color graph maze synesthesia, and it is of zero concern to me.
Okay.
And it is technically a neurological disorder, but it does not bother. I mean, it only bothers me when I'm doing basic math.
like when there are these people, if you don't know what we're talking about, who claim, well, they don't have the ability to picture anything in their mind in the way that a normal, typical person does.
Correct.
So, like, when you're reading fiction, you're presumably creating this image in your mind of what's happening on the page. They can't do that. So it's just words, and they're like, why do people like fiction?
Right.
It's so weird. And it's, to me, inconceivable. I read an article by a guy who had it, and he said people always ask him, well, how do you fantasize when you're masturbating?
Oh, my God, good question.
And he goes, well, now I know how you do it.
That's a good
but
answer.
He didn't answer the question.
Oh, he has to look at something. Wow.
I guess so. Well, regardless of that, maybe he could make an exception and think about, like, if you were wearing a really cute outfit from Le Tote.
Yeah, I mean, that's a turn on.
Have you guys been wearing your Le Tote? I have still so many outfits that are Le Tote creations.
Yeah, I came over the other day and there's a Le Tote box on your front porch, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what she's got
What's in
there.
the box? Le Tote is this really cool clothing service where you can choose basically a bunch of clothes that come to your house, and you can wear them as much as you want.
You love that.
And then when you're done, you can send it back and get new stuff, or you can keep them if you want. But it's just such a nice service because, like, once I wear something a few times, I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. And that's not a sustainable closet model.
I think it's really great to have your basics, like the staples in your wardrobe, and then use Le Tote as a service to fill in so you keep up with the trends. You're always looking great. You always have new stuff to wear, new styles that fit whatever your needs are, the season, the activity, the temper. You can even sort clothes by weather.
Yes.
You know, and then you don't have to spend your hard-earned dollars on stuff that you're going to wear 2 times, and then the seasons change, styles change, and you'll, like, toss
or
it.
maybe your body changes.
Or your body changes.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
With Le Tote, you can rent unlimited fashion, just wear, return, and discover fashion that fits you better. It'll take the stress out of getting dressed. Amen. Go to letote.com. That's LETOTE.com to get started. Enter promo code BRAINCANDY at checkout to get 20% off your first month. That's letote.com and enter code BRAINCANDY. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, we were talking about the guy who can't see things in his brain.
To build on that, I'm currently reading this amazing book called The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk, and he's one of the leading researchers on trauma and the effects of trauma on the body. And they've shown, and he's like found in all of his studies and in his clinical research, that when you're a child who experiences trauma, it cuts your ability to come up with creative solutions, or to even have an imagination, or to start like have creativity, or to have and I feel like there may be a link between the inability, like that if you have early childhood trauma, that stunted imagination and stunted creativity and blocked areas of the brain that are responsible for the development of that would lead to a struggle creating visual images in your head.
Really?
That's what we know is that this is what trauma does to children.
Yeah.
That it absolutely, stops the development of that part of the brain. Or at least the, like the synapses and all that happening. So kids can't come up with like creative solutions for how to get out of a problem, or to,
it makes
a
me
whole
mad.
bunch of stuff.
I mean, when trauma happens to kids, it's like game over unless there's a miracle.
Yeah,
really, on their life.
And like the good thing is like you can. Well, they said in this book it talks about how you have to heal that is you have to help the individual create a new map of what the world looks like, because the world looks different to them. Things are more they can't they detect fear faster. That's one of the craziest
in
ones.
other people.
Fear and aggression in other people way faster. So they showed children one group who had experienced childhood trauma and one who did not, they showed them this series of like 16 facial expressions going from sad to angry, and like how that progressed. So slowly changing from sadness to anger. And the children who had been traumatized picked up the anger within the first 3. Before, the sadness barely even looked like anything less than sadness before. They were like, nope, that person's angry. Whereas the children who came from loving homes, I definitely
like
see
you
things.
think someone's angry before they're angry. Or...
Yes. And it's almost come out in my relationship where I'm very I pick things up as like big, like acts of, like this, he's being so mean. Oh, I can't believe he's, when that's not the intention at all. Mm-hmm. And things become more intensified. And so you're almost like highly reactive.
Maybe I
And it makes
that.
you kind of raw, where like little slights are taken so seriously for you because everything looks like, and you're always in defense mode.
It's weird though, because I mean, I don't know what your perception of you is, but I think of you as like a person who, like, you tease, like, you have this sense of humor that a lot of guys have, where like they tease out of like affection. Yeah. And I would think you wouldn't do that since you seem like you're sensitive to that. Is that not?
I don't, it's funny because I don't feel like I do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like maybe you just do it to me because we're so close.
Yeah, probably. Like I can tease you.
Yeah.
You're like my sister.
Right. Yeah. So maybe it's different.
Like, I don't think I would tease.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you even in the challenge house and stuff, and I think that...
Oh.
Like, you tease people. Like, you'll be like, kinda. Oh, okay, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Yeah, I do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're doing something hilarious that I can absolutely make a joke out of, I can
But
take
you know your own intention, so it wouldn't register as like, oh, I'm being aggressive.
Right.
Because you're not.
Yeah. I think it's... I don't know how that plays out. I'd have to think about that.
Right.
But I think it's a lot of times like, I'll think if it's I've had to learn how to do this, but if somebody else, and I think everybody struggles with this in some ways, but if somebody else is having a bad day and they're rude to me, I'll take it. For a long time, I took it very personally. Like, oh, that person must not like me. It's almost like I don't get angry. It's like it decreases my self-worth even, more. So it's like, oh man, they must be mad at me.
Yeah, but
I did something wrong.
That sounds like a weird like self consumption. Like if you think everything's about you.
Oh, that's true too. But like if you've already labeled yourself as like not worthy or bad or like, however a child who experiences trauma would label themselves, then I think that's more of like, well, this is what I deserve.
Wow.
Not like everything's about me.
Right. Okay.
It's more like, yep, that's how they should be treating me. I guess I am that's all I'm worth.
Right.
Versus thinking, oh no, I'm fine. I'm still worthy of love and all this great stuff, and I have a bunch of stuff going for me. That person's just probably having a crummy day. Like that was a hard thing for me to realize.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. The brain is a complicated thing.
So complicated. It is crazy. We're like just now learning things about it where people are like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll
That's why I'm always like, Sarah better crack the case on that. Like, I think the whole field rests on your shoulders. I think you're all
no press, people.
Right. There was an article about, I think the title of it was, This Article Won't Change Your Mind. And it was about persuasion and the ways that, biases and things like affect our inability as human beings to be convinced of something unless we want to be. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not new information. We know this about people and confirmation bias and things like that. But it was like, man, we are so terrible.
I am always in the state of where you can change my opinion. I'm the opposite of that. I will halfway through my sentence change my opinion about something based on any new information you've given me.
Right.
And I think maybe that it has to do with the field I'm in, where you really have to have we don't know and like a curiosity and this like ... kind of.
Yeah.
Because there aren't really a lot of hard and fast answers, I guess.
Yeah. They called it motivated reasoning, like where your
Oh, I like that.
brain is trying to get to where it already wanted to go. And so you filter out the information that's inconvenient to those conclusions that disagree with it. And it was trying to describe the reason why truth why we wouldn't, evolutionarily speaking, be predisposed to want truth. Wouldn't you want to know which berry was the correct berry to eat, etc.? Like, it seems like, logically speaking, the human race would want truth.
I think what trumps that is the human need to be higher up on the hierarchy. Like,
Right.
get information or give information that in some way boosted their social.
That's right.
I think that's the trump card.
Right. Like that, the social issues
Yes.
are the ones that are more important with regard to information. It's not like which way is the best way to go. It's more about, and even like they were saying, deception can be very handy,
Totally,
evolutionarily speaking.
Yeah.
Think about camouflage.
Oh, right.
So
Animals
like
do it.
deception in the human form involves more like communication rather than like skin or something.
To save yourself, to make yourself better, to,
And it helps you decide or determine who's on your team. Like if you're all in agreement about something.
even if it's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, dang.
Right.
That almost seems like, okay, yeah. And that's like people who are really cautious or fearful of others.
Yeah.
Like I can see them going more into, like we see that where they become more, like they dig in, like they
That's
what is the
exactly
word
right.
I'm trying
Double
to say?
down.
They double down,
Yeah.
thank you, on whatever their theory or concept or idea is already, because they're like, oh, nope, those guys over there are scary and we're going to.
Well, it talked about that, how like politically speaking, like if you were to present information to somebody that went against their beliefs but was founded in science or whatever, that instead of planting a seed against their argument or convincing them that their argument is wrong, it actually makes them believe theirs more.
It's so backwards.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
We think of it as the other guy is doing that, but we do it too.
Totally.
Like every person
You're right.
is susceptible to it. I feel like we, as just like human beings, me and you, are less so. Like I'm always like, yeah, sure, that sounds right. I'll go with that. Yeah. I too can be very.
You don't need to be like.
Because I could see.
Yes, same.
So I think we're unusual in that department.
And I'm like open to a bunch of different possibilities.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
That
I'll
is
put
really
that in the
cool.
newsletter. You guys will want to read that one.
Yeah.
The newsletter you can sign up for at thebraincandypodcast.com. Just put your email in there. We don't spam you. It's about once a week I send you something. And I wish I could send everybody, as well as that email, a big old case of BioClarity, because
Love it.
It is the skincare routine for you, for me, for everyone. If you suffer with breakouts or if you just want to have nice glowing skin, then go to bioclarity.com, because they have products that are effective, but they're not irritating. They have a routine for clear skin, if you want clear skin, or they have an essentials routine if you have normal skin. They have masks, the clarifying mask, the hydrating mask, and now they have the ones for your whole body, the Beauty Boost Beauty Supplement, or Sudsy, the So Fresh, So Clean Body Wash. And
What, a body wash?
you said that last time.
Oh, I'm sorry. But
Just
I just
accept
forgot.
it.
Like, I know. I'm like, I haven't gotten it yet. So now I'm like, okay, well, I got to get that.
Get started on healthier habits with your skincare. Just go to bioclarity.com. Our listeners get 15% off their entire first purchase, plus shipping is free when you buy a routine, and it comes with 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. But you need to enter our code BRAINCANDY. That's bioclarity.com, and enter code BRAINCANDY. There you go.
I was thinking about one of our Brain Candy Brainiacs recently, our zookeeper friend.
Yeah.
Kara,
What about her?
because I heard a really interesting, I guess, fact or like something that they found when researching what the most profitable majors are.
Okay.
Would you like to take a
Profitable
guess
majors.
on what the most like the major that you can choose in college, where the people who choose that major have
The most success.
and how they measure that is the lowest unemployment rate and the highest average salary.
Oh,
So
I would have
it doesn't
guessed.
matter what the average salary is if you can't find a job. So they look at really low unemployment rate and really high salary.
I would have said like business type of thing.
But apparently there's a lot of unemployment in there. There's a lot of people who, like, there's a big range of salary,
Okay.
like what the salary is. The number one is zoologist. Zoology.
Number one.
Zoology is the number one major. The most profitable major.
I can't believe that.
I couldn't either. You know what the unemployment rate for a zoologist is? 1.1%. That's like every zoologist is employed.
Wow.
And the average salary is over $100,000. It's $111,000.
That's
a year.
shocking information.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was listening to this on NPR, and they were joking that it's because it's the very last thing in the college catalog, and nobody chooses it because
That's really
they're like,
funny.
yeah, well, it will just be, And then it's almost like I thought about that, and I'm like, man, when I was a little kid, it seems like every kid's dream to be a veterinarian, but really what we needed to do is explore the alphabet a few more letters and pick zoology, because it's essentially the same study,
Right.
but you're just looking at different like, what do you want to work with, a domestic house cat or a wild tiger?
Right.
Seems like that would be the fun job, and I would love to be. I'm like, dang, animal behavioral, like psychology and zoology are paired. Like a lot of people who start in psychology go into animal behavioral, like, that whole field. Like, for example, how I know that is JD from my season of The Real World started in psychology and then moved into like animal behavior, which is a branch of psychology.
What are you saying?
Animal psychology falls under the umbrella of psychology. They don't specify human psychology.
Come on, Sarah.
I swear. That's a class that you can take. I know, it's like I have to sell you
People
on this.
always say that one of the funniest parts is when I'm like, Sarah.
I have to like defend my facts. But
Why is that the case?
because the same way we use, like, okay, for example, like think back to the Harlow study with the monkey and the wires, and which monkey, like, would the monkey choose a wire mother or a cloth mother? The wire mother has food, the cloth mother doesn't. We know that, like, it's a nature versus, nurture thing, and how they prefer the warmth. That is animal behavior.
Right.
So, but based on animal behavior, we can make assumptions about human behavior. So,
Interesting.
yes. So that's like a branch where the two split off, and people go, "What would you like to study? Would you like to study research and how this affects animals and focus on that, or would you like to study the human experience with it?" And then it almost divides at the master's level. But it's the exact same classes that somebody who's works in like animal behavior takes that I take.
Interesting.
In the undergraduate program.
Can you believe after all these episodes, I am still learning shit?
Yeah, same here.
There is so much to
Oh,
know.
man. That's why, we're going to be on episode 1,000,000 after a while. Yeah.
Right.
An episode for every Scoville that the hot pepper is.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Where did you find that stat? Do you have a reference? or what?
Yes, I actually have the article. I think it was in the New York Times that I had this, and I heard about it on Wait, Don't Tell Me
Weird.
on NPR's podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. On that same podcast, I heard that IKEA is doing scans of your booty to make a custom chair for gamers where you can sit in it for an extended period of time comfortably. Cue the eye roll.
That is crazy.
Right?
They seem really comfortable already, is
Right.
what it
And then it
seems to me.
said in the same article, it's saying that gamers spend an average of 6 hours in front of the television or in front of their game. And I'm
A
like,
day?
That's it? Yeah. I thought it would be more.
A day.
Yeah. I really thought it would be more. Think about that. Say your job as a gamer.
Oh, that's what you're telling me?
Yeah, like if you're a gamer, they said the average time a gamer, they didn't clarify if that was like a professional gamer or just like a regular person.
I don't think it is if they're saying just gamer.
Oh, okay. I was thinking almost like professional. But they said that they spend an average of 6 hours a day in front of sitting in front of a screen, but they didn't say 6 hours a day playing games or like playing it, because I'm like, okay, well, you know, I go home, like, I'm not sitting in front of a TV for 6 hours, but, you know, we wake up in the morning and Landon turns on ESPN and we're like having our coffee and I'm like scheduling out my day and writing my calendar, and technically I'm sitting in front of a TV.
Sure, yeah, that you're right. All right.
So there's like an hour right there, and then I come home and I watch, you know, some news, and I watch one episode of whatever.
I mean,
and
all
there's
my
like
screen time
3
combined
hours.
is a lot.
Yeah, think about that. And I was like, 6 hours. That seems like. And then I think about, I sit in front of a screen when I'm typing up progress notes for the clinic. I'm in front of that screen for at least 3+ hours a day.
Right.
So you can adds up real fast.
Okay, well
maybe I do need a butt scan. Maybe
Like
IKEA's onto something. You know what? Call IKEA.
This chair sounds better and better.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're saying like that's gonna be comfortable.
I guess, and that's like a new thing that they're offering, these custom chairs. I feel like IKEA's really like gone out, you know, on a limb ever since their owner passed away. Like the kids are like, hey, I know what we'll do. We'll do like custom chairs. We'll do like meatballs made of bugs. You know all the weird shit IKEA's doing right now? They totally are. It's like, yeah, Dad's gone. Now we can do all those weird ideas that we had. Like, oh, the guy who says no is out of here.
That is funny, Sarah.
Yeah, that's my share.
All right, that's a good one. Hold on, my son's being an idiot. Hold on. Okay, I handled that.
Yeah, just redirected his banging to another area.
Okay.
He's such a boy.
Ooh, did you see the pictures of the spiders mating on the...
No. Oh, gross. What?
This is perfect for October because it's so... Wait, let me see if I have this.
Oh.
Where's my machine here? Hold on.
It's great because I don't know the story at all, so I'm like going to do a spooky voice for like
Well, it is spooky because it is for... it is for real here, like scary music. If you saw a picture of this beach, and I can't explain to you why they're all there, it's just like, what did they say? 300 meters of just web.
No! 300 meters of web. See, okay. I thought you were going to say 300 meters of like spiders mating, which I'm like for some reason okay with.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're just doing the web.
Ew.
Nothing turns a human being into a ninja faster than walking through a spider web.
Right.
I don't know who said that. I heard that joke a lot.
Funny.
I wish I could take credit for it, but I heard that somewhere a long time ago. I'm like, that is true. You walk through there and you are doing a lot of ninja moves with your hands to try to keep that web off of you.
Ew. If you saw this picture, because it was trending on Twitter recently, and I was like, oh, I want to die.
Have you seen the images of what happens during floods and monsoons in places where there are spiders, and they all go to the trees and they create a web, and it looks like cotton candy?
That's what it was like.
That is so freaking gross.
And see, speaking of spooktacular, did you see the Handmaid's Tale costume they were selling? Sexy Handmaid's Tale?
No.
Yes.
No.
So mad.
Oh, that's a fucking dude who started that for sure.
That's the whole point.
Oh my God, that's the whole
film
point.
Or the
that
TV
costume wouldn't. You know what you would get if you wore that costume?
What? Oppression?
No, a beating from the entire group, and then hung up on that wall like they did in the movie.
Yeah,
or in not movie, book.
I thought it was funny because in the description, I don't know why this struck me funny, but it said at the end like pantyhose not included.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's like that's not the problem. I'm not buying it.
Then I'm out.
Yeah, and somebody tweeted the picture and was like, "This year I'm going as existential dread for Halloween." Because it's so horrible. Who thought that was a good idea?
Oh
Come on.
Even ironically, it's like still I don't know if I'm just extra creeped out and upset by that because you paired it right after the spiders, and so like the feelings I have about the spiders are carrying over to this costume, but I'd probably just be equally grossed out no matter when you presented this idea.
Did you read about the Maine restaurant that is getting the lobsters high on marijuana before they boil them?
I see no problem with that.
Like they don't want them to experience pain.
Well, in Sweden, they banned it.
Oh, really?
That was an article. Did I talk about this on here?
I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, that they're saying it's too painful for the lobsters.
Yeah, so this
they're not
restaurant is handling it through...
It's not a bad way to go out.
wonder if that has the same effect on them as, it does on humans.
Yeah, we'd have to test their
Ask the
love for Cheech and
zoologist.
Chong movies. Put them in front and see if they respond. Do you think this is funny?
Right. I mean, that's where you go to show, like, it is psychology. It's
Or just, like, set out, like, an apple and a bag of Doritos, and whichever one they go towards, be like, oh, yeah, it's working. They pick the Doritos.
Do you think if you were high on marijuana that you'd be less upset about being boiled?
Probably.
All right.
I mean, I'd be less upset about most things. Or, yeah, I don't know. It's the, in my psychopharmacology course, the book referred to it as the drug of novelty.
Why?
That it makes anything that's not very, like, you can find something about, this pen I'm holding in my hand that you're like, oh my gosh, look at this pen. It's, like, so cool. I don't know. It, like, makes very simplistic
everything
things
gets
more, like,
exciting.
Exciting. But
did you read about how Beyonce's former drummer, this woman, has gotten a restraining order, or wants a restraining order because she believes that Beyonce practices extreme witchcraft?
And if she does, I say, get it, girl. It's working. And whatever spell you're casting, I would like a page out of that spell book.
And I thought, oh, well, this person's just Looney Tunes. But apparently this drummer was also a drummer for one of the late night shows. I mean, this is a successful person who really believes Beyonce. She said that she killed her baby kitten. All this weird stuff. It's so funny to me.
That.
All right.
At most, Beyonce has the witchy kit from Sephora.
The last thing I want to mention is how some lady went on vacation.
I can't wait.
And then went to the doctor because she was like having discomfort in her vagina. And out they pulled.
No, stop. What are you going to say? Okay, so a lady goes on a vacation, you said?
I think so.
And then she comes back to the doctor in the United States or on vacation?
I don't know. I think
The
England
details.
is where she lives.
Okay. Oh, so none of
And
those
I don't know
details
where
matter.
she went on vacation, but apparently during a night where she says she was drugged, they put a turtle in her vagina.
This sounds like the freaking shows in Thailand.
Show
And then what?
ping pong shows.
Yes. I've seen this in real life, IRL.
They had to take it out, and she's okay now. I think.
Shocker. They had to take it out.
They left it in there. What if they're like, you're fine?
Yeah, that's okay.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
So she had a turtle in her vagina. Mm-hmm. A baby, well, obviously, a baby turtle?
Well, actually, the
was it
headline...
alive?
No.
The turtle wasn't alive?
No.
Oh.
It had been in there a long time.
Oh, I feel like I would notice if I had a reptile in my vagina, and that is not a euphemism for a penis. I would notice either way.
Finally,
Maybe it can be.
in the title, it called it a tortoise.
Oh,
And then at the end, it was like, some reports have said it's a turtle.
Okay.
I guess so.
I love that when they have to like go back and check and like remember I talked about the Carolina pepper in the original article they had referred to it as the California pepper, and then of course at the bottom it's like in our original writings we called it the California pepper, blah blah blah. I would love to see that article where it's like in the original one we thought it was a tortoise up her vagina, but it was actually just a turtle.
Yeah.
Probably that same fucking turtle guy who was doing a bunch of weird shit before with his strippers on stage, and
God,
he's
you're
like going
right.
around to vacation clubs and being like, "Hey, I'll show you my turtles."
Oh my God.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
all for today, though, Sarah.
Wow.
Unless
Well,
you
that's
have
a good
anything-
note to go out on. A little turtle
turtle action.
up in the lady parts.
There you go, people.
You know?
That's all for now.
See you later.